Archaeologists have announced the discovery of an ancient astronomical observatory during excavations at the Tel El Farouin archaeological site in Egypt's Kafr el-Sheikh Governorate. Tel El Farouin is located between the Tali, Balbatin, and Thermuthiak, Sebennytic branches of the Nile, a few kilometers north of the east-west Butic River, along the southern shore of Butic Lake. The city was a ceremonial center in dedication to the goddess Wadjet, the matron and protector of Egypt. Since 2017, archaeologists have been excavating the remains of the Buto Temple, where recently they uncovered an ancient astronomical observatory from the 6th century BC. According to a press statement by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, the observatory is a mud brick construction which was used to observe and record the astronomical movements of celestial bodies. Temple astrologers were particularly skilled in observing the stars, tracking the conjunctions and risings of the sun, moon, and planets, and monitoring the lunar phases. Astronomy also played a significant role in establishing the dates of religious festivals and determining the hours of the night. The observatory features an L-shaped central hall constructed from mudbrick, resembling the pylon entrances of ancient Egyptian temples. It includes a stone platform adorned with engravings that depict the astronomical alignments of sunrise and sunset throughout the seasons. Within the interior, archaeologists also found an inclined stone sundial, known as a shadow clock, which indicates time by using a light spot or shadow cast by the position of the sun. Ayman Ashmawi from the ancient Egyptian antiquities sector said that the mission also uncovered several artifacts, including a statue from the 26th dynasty, a Merkit measuring tool, and various religious items and pottery related to daily life and rituals. According to the researchers, the observatory is the largest known example that provides new insights into the scientific and religious practices during antiquity. Archaeologists make new discoveries frozen in glacial ice. Secrets of the Ice is a glacier archaeology program dedicated to studying glacial ice patches which contain preserved artifacts and organic objects. As part of the 2024 season, archaeologists are conducting surveys in Briheimen National Park, situated in Norway's Innlandet and Vestland counties. In a press statement shared on social media, the team announced the discovery of a complete scaring stick flag, along with another broken example, both of which have been preserved in the ice for approximately 1,500 years. Ancient hunters used the flags by attaching them to scaring sticks, which were placed in lines to guide herds of reindeer for hunting. Reindeer are highly sensitive animals and tend to avoid human-like silhouettes or moving objects, so the sticks would serve as a moving barrier and steer the reindeer to hunters lying in wait. According to the researchers, the example from Briheimen National Park has distinct parallel lines along its length, which are actually year rings from the radially split pine used to make it. This is the second significant find of 2024, following the discovery of a Viking-era arrowhead amid rubble and ice in the Jotunheimen Mountains. The arrowhead was uncovered during a preliminary survey of an ice site, which the researchers identified using aerial photographs, satellite imagery, and digital terrain models of the mountains and ice fields. In previous years, the project has uncovered a variety of hunting-related objects, as well as domestic items such as a woven Viking mitten, a 3,400-year-old hide shoe, and complete tunics from the Iron Age. Archaeologists reveal further traces of temple structure at Klaidas Samikos. Archaeologists have completed the latest season of excavations at Klaidas Samikos, part of a 5-year research initiative, 2022 to 2026, in the Kaiafas area of the Peloponnese, southwestern Greece. The project is a joint collaboration between the Ephorate of Antiquities of Ilia and the Austrian Archaeological Institute of the Austrian Academy of Sciences, under the leadership of Dr. Brigitta Eder and Dr. Eraphilisirides Kallias. Excavations have revealed further traces of a temple-like structure that measures 28 meters in length, and with a width of 9.5 meters. Archaeologists suggest that the structure dates from around the 6th century BC, which appears to have been partially deconstructed around 300 BC and renovated with new floor tiles above the original ground level before being abandoned. Within the interior are 2 large spaces, each containing 2 central columns, with additional columns positioned in the structure's 2 front pediments. Within the second room, archaeologists found fragments of an archaic marble basin that was likely used for purification rituals. By combining with previous fragments first uncovered in 2022, the researchers hope to partially restore the basin, which will measure 1 meter in diameter once complete. Another key discovery this season is a copper plaque that would have been displayed on the temple wall. On the plaque are traces of an inscription, which using imaging diagnostics will be enhanced and translated at the Ephorate of Antiquities of Ilia. Additionally, a large wall has been excavated which is thought to mark the northern boundary of the temple enclosure. According to a press statement issued by the Ministry of Culture, in the coming years, the scientific team intends to continue the research in order to identify more evidence about the extent and form of the sanctuary and the topography of the area. Archaeologists from the Olomouc Archaeological Center have uncovered an early Lusatian longhouse in Nova Dedina, a municipality and village in the Zlin region of the Czech Republic. The site is associated with the Lusatian culture, a Bronze Age and early Iron Age people who inhabited what is now Poland, parts of the Czech Republic, Slovakia, eastern Germany, and western Ukraine. The Lusatian culture emerged around 1200 BC and is named for the Lusatia area in eastern Germany, Brandenburg and Saxony, and western Poland. They established an economy mainly based on arable agriculture, supplemented by hunting and gathering. Recent excavations on an elevated area near the Oskava River have uncovered traces of a Lusatian longhouse in Nova Dedina. Longhouses served as a communal dwelling and were generally inhabited by large extended families. The walls of the structure were constructed with wicker coated with clay, providing effective thermal insulation and communal shelter from the elements. According to the archaeologists, the longhouse at Nova Dedina was likely the center of a larger agricultural settlement, evidenced by numerous storage pits used to store crops and waste pits in the vicinity. Marko Kalabek from the Olomouc Archaeological Center said, additionally, 5 cremation graves were found at the site dating back to the Late Bronze Age, 1200 to 1000 BC. The graves contained various funerary objects, including bronze pins, bracelets, rings, capped urns and ceramic vessels. The cremation process was executed with precision. Despite some disturbance from deep plowing, we were able to identify bone fragments confirming these as cremation graves, explained anthropologist Lucas Sin, who oversaw the transfer of remains to the Olomouc Archaeological Center for further examination. Ballcourt unearthed at Dzibanche decorated with Maya murals. Archaeologists from the National Institute of Anthropology and History (INAH) have unearthed 3 Maya murals at Dzibanche, located in southern Quintana Roo, in the Yucatan Peninsula of southeastern Mexico. Dzibanche, meaning writing on wood in the Mayan language, was founded around 300 BC during the early Classic period. Dzibanche served as the capital of the Khan dynasty, a powerful Maya lineage that conquered and controlled vast areas of the central Maya lowlands during the Mesoamerican Classic period. The city is characterized by its Petan style of architecture, with key structures consisting of the Temple of the Captives, the Temple of the Lintels, and the Temple of the Owl. The largest structure is the Cormorant's Pyramid, built during the 5th century AD using the Teotihuacan-influenced Talatablero style of Maya architecture. Archaeologists from INAH recently conducted excavations in the Dzibanche Archaeological Zone as part of the Program for the Improvement of Archaeological Zones, PROMEZA, connected to the Mayan Train Project. Excavations unearthed 2 platforms west of a ballcourt, where the archaeologists found ornately decorated murals that depict scenes of the Khan dynasty rulers. Maya ballcourts served as venues for athletic and religious events, symbolizing regeneration and the continuity of Maya existence. The Maya expressed devotion to their gods through the Maya ballgame, a variant of the Mesoamerican ballgame, and through ritual sacrifices. The first mural shows 2 figures guarding a pedestal that once supported a statue, alongside symbols referencing the Khan rulers. The second depicts figures against a backdrop of the night sky, with stars, serpents, and motifs common in Mayan and Teotihuacan art forms. The third mural has scenes of mythological creatures and animals associated with the constellations. Intertwined snakes appear as a recurring motif throughout the scenes, symbolizing the Khan rulers of Dzibanche and reinforcing their claim to divine lineage. The foot, boot and sock thought to belong to Sandy Irvine, who disappeared during George Mallory's 1924 expedition to climb Mount Everest, have likely been found. They could be a vital clue in unraveling an even bigger mystery. Remains believed to belong to a British explorer who vanished more than 100 years ago while climbing Mount Everest have finally been found. Andrew Coman's Sandy Irvine, aged 22, disappeared along with the mountaineer George Mallory in June 1924. The pair were attempting to become the first people to scale the world's highest peak. It's still a mystery whether they succeeded in their goal before they died. Mallory's remains were discovered in 1999, which were missing a photograph of his wife that the climber had planned to leave on the summit. Irving, who had been carrying a Kodak camera that may have recorded a possible historic summit, was never recovered. The summit was officially first reached 29 years later, when Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay scaled Everest from its south side in 1953. Now, a National Geographic documentary team, including the Oscar-winning director Jimmy Chin and the climbers and filmmakers Eric Rupke and Mark Fisher, have found what they believe is Irvine's foot. Encased in a boot and wearing a sock stitched with his name, the foot was discovered on Everest's central Rongbuk Glacier, further down the mountain from Mallory's remains. I lifted up the sock, Chin told National Geographic, and there's a red label that has AC Irvine stitched into it. Irvine and Mallory were last seen on June 8, 1924, as they set off to scale the summit. One of their expedition teammates, Noel Odell, reported spotting the two near the second of the mountain's 3 steps as 2 tiny black dots. One of the dots broke past the skyline during a brief parting of the clouds, then they disappeared. Mallory's body was found less than 2,000 feet, 600 meters, from the summit by the U.S. rock climber Conrad Anker. Mallory's remains were tied by a rope around the waist and had injuries suggesting that the pair had fallen while connected together. By searching near these remains and scouring the glacier for clues, Chin and his team located the boot melting out of the ice. This was a monumental and emotional moment for us and our entire team on the ground, and we just hope this can finally bring peace of mind to his relatives and the climbing world at large, Chin said. The team sent the remains to China-Tibet Mountaineering Association, which is responsible for climbing permits on Everest's northern side. The find was also reported to the Royal Geographical Society, which organized Irvine and Mallory's expedition, and Irvine's great-niece and biographer, Julie Summers. I have lived with this story since I was a 7-year-old when my father told us about the mystery of Uncle Sandy on Everest, Summers said, as reported by The Guardian. When Jimmy told me that he saw the name A.C. Irvine on the label on the sock inside the boot, I found myself moved to tears. It was and will remain an extraordinary and poignant moment. The Irvine family has volunteered to take a DNA test so that the identity of the remains can be conclusively determined. Meanwhile, Chin and his team will continue to search for more artifacts. If Irvine's camera is found and it can prove they scaled the peak, it could potentially rewrite history.